Hi, my name is Kelly Bowker, and I'm a channel and a light language worker, and I also do mediumship. Welcome to my channel, Present Moment Magic. This morning, I want to talk to everybody a little bit about my journey as a channel and my awakening that's happened. I basically keep in the back of my mind the kinds of things that would have helped me in the beginning. And I think this kind of video might have helped me in the beginning. So my beginning was not all that long ago. It was only just about a year and a half ago that I channeled for the first time. And quite quickly, within a month, did my first mediumship reading, brought through lots of evidence, got validation. It was awesome. And I was able to maintain the link for a long time. And during that time, I was researching on YouTube and watching lots of stuff, trying to learn about what it means to be a medium and the different kinds of classes you could take and those kinds of things and the practice you could hook up with. And there's lots of stuff out there. And I was diving into all of it, and some was helpful and some was not. And and I think all of our journeys are unique. And I really want to put that out there to let your guides be your guides. You know, follow the nudges, follow the breadcrumbs. So I was developing as a medium, thinking that mediumship was my calling at that time, truly. And in that June, during that June, early June, that same year, but well, what would that be, about 6 months later, light language came in. And when light language came in, what I've learned about light language is that light language brings with it knowings. That's the way I explain it. When you are open and a light language blessing comes through, the codes and the frequencies that are needed for your next level of understanding comes with it. And it's really quite remarkable and quite incredible. And so things really started to change at that point. Up to that point, when I channeled, it was very comfortable. I would definitely physically feel the energy, but it was a pretty smooth back and forth communication. I would speak the question in my head. They would repeat it because I wanted to record it as I had. And this is before I figured out Zoom. And I would record it on my phone. And so I'd have it to refer back to, back and forth dialogue. Quite peaceful, answering my questions that helped me with my journey. Then light language came and things started to turn up. The energies began to be much stronger, and I started to have a much more dramatic physical response to the energy. And what I now know, looking back, is they were trying to show me that different energies or entities, or however you want to say it, different guides, different angels, when they come through, they do feel different. And they were trying to show me that. But I had some human bumps in my head that I just couldn't quite let go of. And one was the idea of names coming through. That just seemed so far out there to me that I could connect with some non-physical being and they're going to just drop a name into my head. And it just seemed too far out there. So I was comfortable bringing through the level of energy, varying levels of energy. And sometimes Zuzu's playing with a squeaky toy. Sometimes the messages were pretty darn intense and I would get a little overwhelmed, and then I kind of would ride that wave out for a little while. But now again, looking back, I realized it was them gently, layer by layer, gentle by gentle, bringing me along to be able to wrap my brain around the reality of the relationship between myself and yourself and the all. It is, I just can't even tell you how remarkable. So during that time, everybody that I came in contact with was quite impressed and thought it was quite awesome. And it was, and they were saying, you need to like get out on YouTube. You need to do this. Everybody had a whole list of my shoulds, what I should do to develop this business that everybody wanted to refer to it as. And I always knew that wasn't right. But I mean, you ride the momentum of the energy, and it was pretty exciting at that time. And so I did start to I did start to, I would email. The guide showed me how to do it. I never would have figured it out on my own. I would email, speaking of energy, different people who had YouTube shows that I enjoyed that had been helpful to me. And I got a response from Kevin Moore, which was one of the biggest ones at that time. He was and still is doing that series called They Call Us Channelers. And he reached out to me when I finished my second book. During that time, within about a 6-month period of time, I wrote 2 books with the guide's help. I'd never written anything in my life. They are available on Amazon, by the way. And so I did an interview with Kevin. And when that interview came out, at the end of the interview, when he stopped recording, he said to me, Kelly, use my name and you're going to get lots more interviews. This is just the beginning for you. He was very complimentary. He told me he could feel my energy. It was so beautiful because he has sat down with all the greats, Bashar and Lee Carroll and, Cryon, and I mean, all the big ones. He has sat, maybe virtually, but across from them energetically. And he said he could feel my energy. And it was so validating and so beautiful. And I'm going to share that the day that Kevin interviewed me was the first time that I shifted and let someone else with metaphysical questions ask my guides questions. I don't think Kevin even knew that. I trusted, I knew that if the opportunity presented itself, I'd be able to do it, but I hadn't had the opportunity because I didn't have a support system in my community. I didn't have a tribe. I had a couple people I could talk to about stuff through the internet, and that was just about it. So, and at that time, my prayer was, I need people. I need a tribe. I need people I can process with. I need people I can talk about this with. So that's another little piece of the story. So I have the interview with Kevin Moore and my life basically explodes. Remembering that I'm from a small town in Maine, population under 1,000, and all of a sudden this interview is getting 5,000 views, and I am being, I'm having people wanting appointments with me and all this stuff, and it just bubbled right to the top. And I met wonderful people, and I started to refer to some of them as my tribe, people that I just resonated so strongly with when I did a one-to-one, that I reached out and created friendships with them. And now I have a beautiful, beautiful support system. And I believe I support them as well. But I put out emails to everybody at that time and nothing came through. Looking back now, there were some huge things that had to fall in place. One of the big things was my ability to handle the appointments and all of that kind of stuff. So during that time, a lovely lady reached out to me and helped me create a scheduling app so that now I don't have to take phone calls and try to figure out time changes and all that stuff. So now that's in place. That's huge. I had another beautiful individual create my logo that I've started to use, and it is so beautiful, and it just, just raises the quality of the whole thing. But there was an ego part of it that I had never experienced, and I don't think I experienced it to a great degree, honestly, but I could see how it could grab me. And I needed to think about that. And I needed to think about what did I want? What did I want for my life? Because the number one biggest commitment I have in my life is my beautiful marriage with my husband. And my husband is a country boy. He loves camping in the North Maine woods where there's no electricity, no internet, no cell service. He likes to unplug. And I mean, I want my life with my Michael, but I also have a knowing in my heart that my guides wouldn't be bringing through so much incredible information and so much help for day-to-day life if there wasn't supposed to be a way for me to share this with the world. So I kind of had my foot in both ponds, to be honest, that I'm perfectly okay. I got to the point with a lot of help from my guides of knowing that when I tend to my own vibration, when I tend to my own evolution, I'm tending to the world because we are all one. And I'm really okay with doing just that. And I really got clarity around do what brings me joy. I love doing these videos. I was a teacher for 23 years. I love this. This is my jam. And so there are these things that just boiled to the top that I knew I wanted to be a part of my life, that I really, really enjoyed. But then things started to happen. So as I was getting comfortable with the amount of appointments kind of settling down, petering down a little bit, I could have stood more during that time, but they kind of, and it gave me time to figure some things out. And the big thing I figured out at that time was the self-care and how to regulate that relationship between me and me. And the inner child work really got clarification during that time. And I really did a lot of that work and really, really took some great things. But while all that was happening, other things were starting to happen, such as that I didn't share with people up until just this week. So I would say it was about 6 weeks ago when I went into a channeled state and an entity came through and identified themselves. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but it was quite remarkable. And they had a very clear message for me. People would ask me about what do I do to protect myself from the dark side and blah, blah, blah. And I just wouldn't even entertain the idea that there was any kind of darkness at all. And I'm using that term for lack of a better term for you to understand what I'm talking about. I just wouldn't acknowledge it because I knew I was about love and light, and I wasn't concerned with the other things. But my guides, they know stuff. They know everything. They know lots and lots of stuff. They came through, this particular entity came through, and the sentence that they said to me was, they said, there are many who are physical and non-physical who have the ability to interact with humans and be benevolent and help us on our journey. So physical and non-physical. And I'm like in my head going, what does that mean? And they showed me in my mind the fact, and they dropped all these knowings in at once, which is really hard to explain, but the fact that all time is now, all dimensions are available now, all incarnations, all timelines are all now. And I'm not going to go too much into this because it's too deep, but what they wanted me to have that big understanding that there is that ability for physical and non-physical benevolent beings to help and interact with humans, which I knew to a degree because I've talked to my guides and my angels and whatnot, but there was more to it because then they said, we need you to know, Kelly, that there are physical and non-physical beings that have the ability to interact with humans that are not benevolent. And I got all really nervous when they started to say that. And I'm in my mind and I'm asking, why are we talking about this? And they said, you humans are emotional. You were given emotions. That's part of the human experience. It is possible that you could push through the warnings that you are given by your benevolent team and become vulnerable to a non-benevolent being. So let's talk about that. What does that mean? So it means play on my sympathies, play on my heartstrings. We all have guidance. And so then they gave me an example. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because I imagine this individual probably still watches my videos and I bless them on their path. But we resonate with people and we don't resonate with people. And we have to learn, this was a very, very, just a hair on the top of this big issue that they gave me this little example to just kind of tap me on my mind and go, that's how it can happen. So let's not let it happen. And it was a situation of someone approaching me having an immediate reaction energetically to stay away. But then them coming and coming and coming and working on my heartstrings, and I gave in, then started to interact. And then some time went on. This message came through. Then a little more time went on. And then this person turned the heat up a little bit, so that even dumbass Kelly was getting it, that this was not the person for me to be interacting with. Again, bless them on their path. When that happened, they just put it all. It's like that part in a movie with lots of pictures, just lots of pictures of the remembering and the conversation and all of it coming into that moment, and me going, oh, that's what they were talking about. Okay, that's what they were talking about. So I think it was really important for me to get that very clear understanding before anything else developed in my path of joining myself with the rest of the world. I think I needed to understand that because I'm very Pollyanna and I'm very naive. I went from my father's house to my husband's house, and I'm here to tell you, my husband is a force to be reckoned with. He has kept me wrapped in bubble wrap my whole life. And, and I appreciate that to a degree, but it also has, it's created me to be a pretty naive person. My kids both tell me. My kids are protective of me because they're so much more worldly than I am. And I'm not, I think I should have said than I was, because now I have total confidence in my ability to know. And I can feel that energy and I completely trust it now. It's been explained to me and I completely trust it. So that was another thing that happened along my journey. Then I don't know quite how to say it, the separation out of the energies started to become clearer and clearer. And about a month ago, I've started to share some of the clips out of, I'm putting them in a playlist called Mondays, because part of this tribe that I met was this man named Graham and his wife Sylvia and his mom Jeannie. And they, together with myself, we get together on Mondays. We've had one other guest join us, and it is about my expansion. And what I realized was that when I could let go of the conversation of the question coming in my mind and then the answer coming in my mind, it really allowed it to just expand. So it was basically what I did with Kevin, only I didn't have that opportunity. No, I didn't have a person, people were coming to me. I was having appointments, but it was about them. It was about me bringing through for them, not me being able to really just settle into how far, the way I describe it and the way Graham and we set our intention around this was, how far out can I move my consciousness and still interact? And what I'm wondering it's going to happen, and I'm open to if it's what the guides want to have to be the next step, as long as I know I can come back, is I think there's going to be that pop that's going to happen where my consciousness is going to completely let go, and I am going to be able to trance channel where I have I'm not aware during it, and then they would be able to use whatever words they wanted to use, and that would be a little bit of a different experience. I don't know if that's coming. I'm open. I have no idea if that's going to be one of the next steps. The other thing that happened during that time was my relationship with Mother Earth. And when you watch my videos and you see when I connect to Angel Michael, or who is the connection between our energy system and Mother Earth, when I let them come through identifying themselves as Mother Earth or Angel Michael, and there's lots more that come too. But when they come through, you will see the shaking and the physical manifestations in my body are quite dramatic. It doesn't pick up half of it. My toes are curling, my legs are going, my feet are flexing. My body is reacting to this level of beautiful, wonderful energy. Mother Earth, I needed my relationship with Mother Earth to be able to trust the different entities. I now have that knowing that I am held in safety. I know that if I do let go of my physical body and completely go into trance and go to wherever one goes when they're in trance, I don't know, I've never done it, but I know that Mother Earth, she has said it right out very plain. She will bring me back. And I trust that. And so I am really working to develop my relationship with Mother Earth. During that process, they gave me the gift of sound. It was another beautiful video that I watched on Next Level Soul. I've shared this a little bit with Robin Lansong. And when I heard her speak, it was like a welling up from the earth when she sang. A welling up from Mother Earth came through me, and I knew that this was part of my journey. And so I started down a path and I let the guides lead me with breadcrumbs. And so now I've developed this method or technique that it's toning, it's saying, whatever, toning the chakras, and it is taking me to a new level. It is bringing through such clarity. I cannot even begin to understand the clarity that this is doing. It is helping me. They're starting to tell me that meditation is a path to this opening. So is sound a path to the opening. Everyone says, I can't meditate, I can't meditate. Well, you can tone. Even if you can't sing, you can say, ah. Doesn't matter if it's in tune or not. It is creating the vibration. And I close my eyes and I just, with my intention, I bring that energy out and I connect it to the cosmos and I connect it to Mother Earth. And I feel like it has just turned me into a huge, huge receiver. And so now I'm quite comfortable with the different voices identifying themselves, the different angels. The first time the angels told me they were coming through, I went into a panic attack. And now, oh my gosh, if you could feel what it feels like to have Angel Ariel speak, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like a bathing in just warm white light. It's so beautiful. I just wanted to share this. I wanted to share this because I feel like I'm at the precipice of the next level. I do believe now some more interviews are going to start coming. I believe that there's going to be the next level of knowings and awakenings. And it is a vulnerable thing and it is a scary thing. And when these changes come, and especially someone like me who was raised in the Christian religion, and you were trained never to open yourself up. But I want you to know that when you connect, when you set your intention, which is part of who I am, and I know it would be part of who you are, but set your intention for love and light. When you set your intention for love and light is what comes, or you feel it. When it's not love and light, you know it's not. And it is just like they're ringing a bell. It is so clear and so awesome and so empowering. It has taken every bit of fear away. It's wonderful. I cannot even describe how wonderful it is. I know that our planet, we are undergoing a change. And I know there are going to be those of you who are drawn to this video. That's up to the guides and the angels. I get the impulses to do it, and I do what the impulse says. I always have free will. I can always say no. But when I get these impulses, if it feels good and loving, and then I do it. And today was that kind of an impulse. So you're going to be seeing lots more of, I'm going to call it out there stuff, because it is the reality that they are sharing. And if it resonates, take what resonates. It is all coming from love. Love is the fabric of consciousness. Total and complete love. And when any of it feels overwhelming, I go to the present moment, because that is the biggest theme of anything that any guide has ever come through to me. The biggest theme is to settle into your present moment and find that energy of love, and just love and openness, sending our love out into the oneness that we're all part of. One more thing that has been part of this, what I'm probably going to write a book called Leveling Up, because that's what it feels like. Oh, that's a good idea. They just dropped that in my head. When I listened to Sarah Landon, who is also a channel, who's been doing this a lot longer than I have, and she brought through, I've always liked her, and I've listened to lots of her stuff along my path. But when she had her third interview on Next Level Soul, and she talked about the law of attraction, there were some pieces in that just my guides took and then just unpacked for me, and just gave me such clarity around how to create and manifest. And so now I know. I thought to myself, well, I'd like to have a few more appointments. I'm thinking like 3 a week. Guess how many appointments I've got booked this week? 3. I mean, it's just so wild. It's like I got an email from Kevin Moore asking me for my phone number. Well, that's encouraging. And I know it's the right time. I know it's the right time. And I know I'm completely grounded in this moment, and that I will bring through what is the best and highest, and that is what is supposed to come through at any given time. So I appreciate you watching my videos. I appreciate all of you who subscribe. It's wonderful. I have been approached to allow different advertisements and stuff on my channel. I haven't followed up with that yet. I'm really not sure if that's something I should be doing or not. I don't know, but I just thought I'd mention that. Have a wonderful day. I know that I'm heading to the coast of Maine with my dear best friend Jeanette, and we are going to eat lobster again and stay in a cute little cabin right on the coast of Maine and look out at the ocean and just feel the energy of Mother Earth. So have a fabulous day, everybody. Like my videos, and see you later.